Hey YouTube, I'm Sylvia Moonbeam, and I don't normally buy a lot of Lego sets. If I do, well, unfortunately Bionicle isn't on the shelves anymore, so when I do buy Lego, it tends to be Star Wars, though it tends to be a lot of the smaller sets like the Micro Fighters. However, I wanted to pick up this one, set number 40721, the Halloween Barn. I believe this is the first time this set came out for 2025, and it's a cute little set. There are really no surprises with this set. It is exactly what it looks like. If you grew up in the early 2000s or early 2010s, you probably saw a movie called Monster House, where basically a woman died and her spirit haunted the house. I know that that's massive spoilers for the movie, but the house was haunted and had a literal monster inside, and that's basically what this set is. It's a monster barn. Yeah, I mean, that is the surprise. Anyone who has seen the box knows what to expect. It cost me about $15 plus, sales tax in America. So I think in total it was only about $6.30 or something. But I built it. It only took me about 35-40 minutes. But here it is. It's surprisingly small. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. You can kind of see the buildup of it. Now, I've zhuzhed mine up a little bit because I had a lot of extra pieces. But you don't really need a ton of stuff to make this a good barn. I'm kind of just mentally counting how tall this is. I would say this is only about 12 or 13 bricks tall. It's not very tall, but it still has a decent presence on a table. I mean, here's how big it is compared to a 20 fluid ounce soda bottle. Like it's pretty small, but it looks kind of nice. It's kind of a cute little piece that you could put on a bookshelf or as part of your Halloween display. I know it's kind of weird to think about Halloween this early in the year. I mean, when I'm releasing this video, it is August 28th. Halloween is 2 months away. But there's not really a ton going on at the end of August and early September. But like I said, I zhuzhed mine up a little bit. I added some extra, I think 2 or 3 extra little tendril tentacles. I added some extra little pieces here to add extra branches. And I added another cheese slope near the back to buff out the tree trunk. But other than that, I mean, it's relatively I added I think another stone here. But yeah, this is what it looks like. It's basically kind of a mimic that has overtaken this barn. I mean, I haven't actually tried opening the door, the barn window on camera. There we go. And you can see, you open up the window, and there's a little eyeball piece. You push open the door, and there's teeth. You can relatively easily remove this. The eyeball piece is attached on some snot bricks, and the teeth and the tongue are just plates here, and they're attached onto another little bit here. So in theory, you could just pop this off and have it be kind of just a creepy barn. But yeah, I said there are some minor surprises. It does come with a skeleton. Now, I have never actually received a skeleton with the new style of arms. I know this arm style has been pretty common on skeletons and even battle droids for a while, but I don't have any of the new skeletons. But you can see he's tall enough that he can't fit through the door, which means this is a relatively small barn. Like, I'd have to kind of drop him through sideways just to get him to fit. Something also kind of interesting is that the set uses snot bricks mostly as kind of a point of articulation. So you could, if you didn't want, for example, this plank to be kind of the angry eyebrows. You could rotate it however you want, or there's the kind of the cross beam on the side and on the door, and you could very easily rotate these just to kind of help customize it however you want. Some interesting pieces that the set includes are things like the classic Lego bat. Of course, there is these small leaf or foliage pieces in the color that I call Keat Orange. I believe it's called medium orange yellow or something like that. Also, good amount of purple. I was not expecting the purple on the doors. That's actually kind of a nice flash of color. I do like this fern piece. There's also kind of this weird knobby headlampy piece on the side of the door that I really like. And possibly the only real accessory, which is the lantern. You can see it has a cute little lantern piece, presumably for your skeleton to hold if you want the skeleton to have some kind of an accessory. Though it is a little weird that they even included a minifigure. They probably didn't need to. But the actual post of the sign, this is actually really cool, is a Lego ketchup bottle. So good reuse of the pieces there. I do wish it was just a little bit taller though. You can see it's only about one stud taller than the actual plate. But there are a couple little things in the back side that are really cool as well. And of course there is a eyeball on the door as well. In theory, the monster is peeking out at you, and then when you get close enough, its true form is unleashed and and presumably a tongue reaches out to grab you. But on the back side, I forgot to mention there's this interesting arch piece. Obviously the big arch on top isn't a new piece, but the actual little bit here, the little window pane piece, is really kind of cool. I like that. But on the back, there is a piece I don't have, which is this cute little bottle piece. It is kind of a transparent green. So I don't know. I grew up with that being the color of Heineken, but it could be just some kind of green glass bottle. And it comes with a little cauldron. Now, I had an extra eyeball in mine, so in my set, so I included the eyeball, but it's just the eyeball plate with a 1x1 stud. But yeah, it's just a normal cauldron, and I put the eyeball in just for fun. Maybe it's the Monster House's baby, or the Monster Barn's baby, excuse me. But I thought that'd be fun, just have a little eyeball in the an eyeball in the cauldron. I threw together a really small minifigure using kind of the child-size legs, and I kind of kit bashed a flashlight just to kind of further prove how big like a minifigure is comparatively. And you can see the child minifigure, quote unquote, that I built wouldn't even be able to comfortably fit through the door, at least not in their current form. But in theory, you could have, with my kind of like little mini flashlight, you could have kind of the classic movie scene where the kid goes like, "Oh, come on, guys, it's perfectly safe." And then suddenly the monster awakens. It's like, "Hey, come on, guys, it's safe." Suddenly the monster, the door opens, the teeth suddenly appear, and the kid's like, "Wait, what?" The door is slammed closed, and the flashlight's in the way. The door is slammed closed, and you hear crunching sounds as the child is devoured. I'm kidding. If you wanted to make a horror movie using this Lego set, you totally could. I also, an interesting technique I kind of like is you can see there's masonry bricks, the ones with the brick pattern. They actually use the inverse side with just the lines to represent paneling on the doors. And obviously the brown ones are where the paint has either faded or torn off. There's also a lot more black than I expected, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. The black helps to sell the shape. Like, it's got a really strong kind of roundish silhouette. And I think just the black helps kind of solidify that rather than make it look even more patchwork. But that's basically it. I mean, it's not a complicated set. Like I said, it only took me about like 35 minutes. I was watching another YouTube video while building it, just having it play in the background. And if you don't want the spooky monster, you can very easily just pop out the big eye, pop out the teeth, and then take out the tongue and these teeth. You can just have a spooky barn. If you just want a spooky barn, you can just have a spooky barn. Well, obviously you'd still have probably the little eye there unless you replaced it. But yeah, you could just have a spooky barn. It doesn't have to be a monster. But I think I'm going to leave mine as a monster because, well, like I said, Monster House. I did not expect this to go on for 11 minutes, but thank you all for watching. I hope you had a fun time. Until next time, I have been Sylvia Moonbeam, and I will see you in the next video. Say bye-bye, skeleton. Bye-bye!